Greetings, my fellow Africans and the entire world. Once again, I come into your homes and your minds with a message of empowerment and enlightenment, all the way from the African Mental Emancipation Movement. The African Mental Emancipation Movement is a movement that has been set up for the complete and the total emancipation of the African minds from mental slavery, as observed by Marcus Garvey and sung by Bob Marley. That emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can do this. And so, we are here to bring ourselves or our minds back to our own consciousness and our own existence, for us to analyze and look at the areas where we have actually put ourselves in this kind of situation or condition, and invoking the words of the Greek philosopher that the unexamined life is not worth living. It is always comfortable and easy for men and women, for people, humanity, or men and women, to always look at other people and point fingers at them that they are the cause of whatever situation that they may be going through. And as a matter of fact, the biggest challenge in every human being's life is the ability to question and to analyze one's own way of life or way of thinking or existence. And so you see that we are quick to criticize. We are quick to analyze other people's life and give them solutions. But we are not ready to actually look at our own situations and offer ourselves criticisms and even accept suggestions. And so this is how we have conducted our lives as Africans. If you look through the life of the black people, everywhere everywhere in the world, we appear to be the victims of the works of other people. If we are not under the work, or if we are not under the attack of evil forces, as it is on the African continent, evil forces, then it is our fellow human beings. Now we have the Europeans who came to colonize us. And then we also have our fellow Africans, black Americans in the diaspora. And then based on the historical event, which is slavery, the unfortunate situation that happened. Now, anything that happens, we attribute our failures, our inability to do other things to this. Yes, I am not saying that none of this ever existed. It really existed. But as a matter of fact, humanity is on an upward movement. And all these things have gone, and they have to be behind us. But in the same place, if we continue to live our current life in the past or in line of the past events, then that means we are not moving, we are not setting ourselves free. And so I am not here to propound any theory or anything to debunk the truth about all these incidents that Africans we have gone through, but I'm here to reason with you and also to present a new perspective. Though it is not new, but it is new to us. This, whatever I'm sharing, is an old or ages of wisdom and truth. And so, nothing will ever come into a group of people's life without first the thing passing through their minds. And in Africa, in Ghana in particular, I know there is a saying in the Akan language that Abuabi Bekawa nephew Ntumam, that means for an insect to sting or bite you, it must first hide under your clothes before it will be able to do that. Though in Africa, this great saying has been interpreted to mean, or to, as to refer to people who are treacherous, people who are who are with you, but they eventually betray you. But this statement goes beyond that. And I'm giving the metaphysical aspect of it. And the metaphysical and philosophical aspect of it is that nothing in the human being's life will ever come to your existence without not first passing through your mind. Everything that you are going through, everything that any group of people have gone through, and they are yet to go through, is the work of their collective minds. If it is a group, if it is one person, then it is the work of your mind based on your perspective and the thoughts and your emotions that you throw upon issues, events, and circumstances. And so today we are emancipating ourselves from all this, and we are bringing ourselves back home and to remind one another that we are the creators of our own realities, even though other people may come in as actors, players. That helps to bring whatever thing that we are created into reality in the outer form. The real creators are ourselves, based on our way of thinking, based on our understanding of the operations and the workings of our minds. This is not applicable to only Africans. It is applicable to all human beings, because we are being moved and animated by only one principle, only one power. And so we are all one. And so today I am going to speak to you on what we call principle never fails. Principles never fails. Principles never fails. And I'm speaking under the topic that I introduced, and this is going to be the fourth or the fifth one, which is Wake Up Africans. Mind is the master. Mind rules the world. Principle never fails. And in our existence or in the universe, everything is governed by a principle. Everything is governed by a principle. And it is only when the principle is broken that we get the negative side of it. And so when a principle is duly followed, understood and practiced or followed, there is no way that that person or that group of people who are applying that principle will fail or will get a negative result. And as a matter of fact, there is a principle for everything, every good thing. There is a principle for riches, but there is none for poverty. There is a principle for health, but there is none for sickness. There is a principle for anything, happiness, but there is none for sadness. It is only when there is the absence of the principle that we create the other side, which is a negative one. And so if you look at the life we live, there are a lot of examples in nature that we can look at to actually educate ourselves on this particular topic that I'm actually sharing with you. And so I will begin with our common things that we use in our lives. Number one, if you take water, any amount of water, and you pour it on a flat surface, let's say on the floor, this amount of water will spread. And sometimes it will not have one direction. Some will go, part of it will go in the east, a part of it will go to the west, part of it will go to the north and south. But if you take the same amount of water and you put it in a cup or you put it in a tube, the same amount of water will pass through the tube with one direction. And sometimes, because it is moving in one direction, it has force or power and is able to do some amazing things for us. And this is based on the principle that water takes the shape of a container. So if you don't give the water you have a definite or a specific shape, a container that will help it to take its shape, then the water will spread that it will have no power. And so this is a principle. Wherever you are, whoever you are, this principle is applicable to you. So as far as water is concerned. And so if you want to use water to generate a certain power, but you only pour it on a surface, then you are not going to get that power because you are violating the principle which says that water takes the shape of its container. If you put it in a tube, if you put it in in a pipe, the water will pass through and then it will do whatever you want to do. And so if we take our taps that we use in our homes, this is the principle that they use. And if we move further, if we take the mathematical principle 2 plus 2, if you understand this principle and you apply it anywhere in this world, even in outer space, the answer will be 4. So long as you understand this principle and you actually apply this principle, you will never get a different answer other than 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. And the principle teaches us that 2 plus 2 simply means group 2 things here and group 2 things here and put them together. You get 4. And then the reverse of this principle also states that if you have 4 things and you take away 2, the answer will remain 2. And so you will see that if you perform this simple basic arithmetic principle anywhere in this world, you get the same answer. It doesn't matter whether you are a white person. It doesn't matter whether you are a black person. It doesn't matter whether you are Asian. It doesn't matter whether you are a Muslim, a Christian, a Buddhist. Regardless of whom you think you are, regardless of how you see yourself, the answer will be the same. And so these are 2 basic examples of how principles work. Nothing in this world is without a principle. And therefore, if you are trying to use that thing for a good cause and you are not getting the right answer, that it means you don't understand the principle, you are violating the principle. There is no way that any man or woman will do the right thing to go on to get the wrong answer. That is a fact. If you understand that life is governed by principles and you obey the principles, the laws of life, there is no way that you will have a negative result. And so these 2 examples, there are many, but that is not the focus. I'm just using these 2 examples to present to make my presentation. You can begin to think about this. Brought this to your mind. Begin to think about this. And so it is with our life. Life is with principles. And so in our life, success has its principle. Wealth has its principle. And all other things, all other good things that we know. But you will fail only when you violate the principle governing success. You'll be poor only when you violate the principle governing wealth. And so in your life, if things are not going on the way they're supposed to be, then it means you are either ignorant about the principles, the principle governing the things you want to achieve, the things you want to achieve, or you are deliberately violating that principle. And so, in our lives, there is no way that any group of people or a person in his or her life will do the right thing, will apply the right life principle to go on to have a negative result. There is no way you can do whatever thing you want to do, so long as you are going against the basic principles of life. Your answer will always be negative. But you can obey the principle and do little, and your answer will always be positive, because principle work out things for all men and women. It does not discriminate. And so it is with our life. And Africans, we look at our lives and then we compare it with the other people. And then we say, they are doing well because this and this has happened between us and these people, or they have done this to us, and that is why they are doing well and we are not doing well. Yeah, that is true, but the fact is that whatever thing that happened to us, if we actually understood the principles of life and applied them, we would have been on the same level with them, that they couldn't have done that thing to us. But the very fact that things happen in our lives that were not what we desired, what we were looking for, means that we violated life principle. And since the violation must come with effect, those things that other people came to inflict upon us were the effects of our violation of the principle. So the only way we can revert this is to look for the principle, understand it, apply it in our life, and move on, and then we will turn everything around. And so you see that in Africa, in particular, one, we are not moving forward. People say we don't have good leaders. And then we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have that, we don't have that. Why? It is because we do not understand. We are ignorant about the principles of life. And since we are ignorant about this and we are violating these principles, we must get the negative effect. And so, development, success, happiness, and all these things have principles. We only have to identify the principles and follow them. And so if you look at African, our life, our own existence, the way we conducted our life, and we are still conducting, is based on what we call religious morals, some taboos, and all kind of things that are not in alignment with the principles of the universe or the principles of our life. And since we are organizing or conducting our life based on human morals and all these things, we go on to violate these principles. And so you see that even as we are doing everything in our power to be successful, we are rather getting failure. I once had a conversation with someone, and we were talking about the African situation. And one of the issues that came up, and which I know almost every African in particular, we hold that view. And even our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, the Black Americans, the African Americans, they believe that Africa is not going on well because of lack of leadership. But you ask yourself, leaders are drawn from a group of people, a collection of people. And therefore, if there are no good leaders from the African pool, the pool of Africans, that it means the leaders are only a representation of who we are, the true nature of Africans. And therefore, you see that our way of life, our personality was built upon morals, some morals that never mirror, that has no alignment with the laws and the principles of the universe. And so this is the time that we have to become awakened to this fact that we only have to compare ourselves to other people. And if they are doing well, if they are moving on and getting everything as expected, then it means we only have to be awakened to the fact that we are doing something that is not right. And there is nothing wrong with men and women learning from other people. We only have to put all ego aside and come to the drawing board and begin to analyze our lives, the way, our conduct of life. What are the things that are not actually working well for us? What are the things that we are practicing that are putting limitation on our progress? Then we weed them out. We look for things that other people are doing that are in alignment with principles. And as I said, 2 + 2, even in the outer space, is 4. And therefore, if success is equivalent to 2 + 2, and other people are getting success, and we are not getting success, that means we don't understand the principles behind success. The only thing we have to do is put ego aside and learn from people who are already make it, and then apply it in our lives. And as a matter of fact, whatever thing that we see in the advanced world, the developed world, came as a result of men and women who became awakened to the fundamental principles of life. One of the principles of life is that you are a creator. Every human being here has power, has inherent power in him or her. And you have the power and the ability to create, to change your life, whichever way you want it. So you need to be conscious of it. And then as soon as you come to this realization, you will no longer look at people as the cause of whatever you are going through, because you are now awakened to the fact that your whole existence, your whole life experiences are the creation of your own mind by the way you use your mind and the power of thoughts. And therefore, what you do is you begin to, revert everything and then look at it from the right perspective. And as I started, principle never fails. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Success is governed by principle, which is equivalent to 2 plus 2. And therefore, there is no way that Africans, if we apply this principle in its true nature, with understanding and doing away with all our traditions and taboos and other things, we will go on to get the wrong results. And so, the lack of development, the poverty, and all the things that we are seeing is a true reflection of the fact that the African is every day continually going against the principles of life, going against the basic and the fundamental principles that governs us. There is no way that a human being will do the right thing to get the wrong results. That is a fact. So if you are getting the wrong results, that means you do not understand the principle behind what you are trying to achieve. And that is what is happening now. So this is a time that Africans, we have to bring ourselves back home and begin to analyze our way of life, our conduct of life. What do we believe in? What is the central principle upon which our personality, our way of life is built? Africans, as I've always been saying, we have always been victims. We have always been victims. Victims of the works of evil forces, victims of the works of some gods, victims of the works of other people. But we have never actually become conscious of the fact that human being creates reality. And therefore, whatever we are seeing, we should trace it to ourselves. And when we trace it to ourselves and begin to, take the right action, beginning to look for the principles and understand the principles and go on to apply the principle, we will revert everything. We've never done that. And it's because Africans, we are ignorant about all these things. And that is why the African mental emancipation movement is here. And it is cause awakening. And it's to bring all of us, our minds to this proof that nothing will change in our lives until we look for the basic and the universal principles of life, the universal principles that govern success, the universal principles that govern development, the universal principles that govern leadership. When a group of people conduct their life based on principles, the children that grows to become adults will wake up, will go on to, do everything based on principle. And I personally have, I have a personal experience which I have shared it with many people. And that was my life at the beginning in the United Kingdom. I migrated to the United Kingdom in 2001. And I remember I went, by then I was a student, so I went to Chiswick. Those who are in London knows it. I went to Chiswick Job Center. And I went there to look for a job. By then, in the UK, the law was that if you're a student, you can only work 20 hours a week. So I saw a job advert, and I printed it from the job bank. The hours was 21. So I thought, 21, this will, at least this woman or the one who is going to attend to me will overlook the 1 hour. Then when it got to my time, it was a young lady, around 17, 18 years or maybe 19 years old. And this lady looked at the thing, she said, "You can't do this job. You are a student." And I said, "Oh, it's just 1 hour." No, she said, "That is the law." And this lady made sure that I didn't apply for the law, for the job. Then I asked myself, how would, as an African, I would have reacted? I would have just told her, "Oh, you know what? It's just one hour. Don't worry, take it." And that is what we do in Africa. Our way of life is void, is without principle. We cannot look at things and say that this is how it's supposed to be done, regardless of all other things. And therefore, when things happen, when things are not going on well, we are ready to go against the laws. We are ready to go against the principles of life. And so you see that we do things that we say that they are values, or they are our hospitality or whatever, but they don't bring anything to us because we are going against the principle. And the African corruption is based on this truth. The black person, the African, lacks principle. So whenever things becomes a little bit difficult, we are looking for the easiest way to kill the problem. And therefore, even if there is the need to part something that even though that not belongs to us, or that is not supposed to do, we are ready to do. But that is not how life is supposed to be. You are supposed to take a stand. Everything is a challenge. And so, once I am in charge of this, I am ready to go through a certain pain. I am ready to go through a certain difficulty to achieve a common good for all people, not for me alone. Then that we say we are building our life based on principles. So if you look at our whole conduct of life as Africans, everything is without principle. And that is why we have corruption. That is why we have all these kind of things going on. Africa, our leadership issue will never solve, will never go away until we build our life based on principle. A child that is trained and was taught to follow principle will grow to become an adult that will follow principle, even if he or she is the president or holding any position in the country. That is a fact. So let us rise up. Let us rise up. Mind is the master, mind rules the world. And mind is the master, mind rules the world means that we have to use our mind positively and constructively in alignment with the laws of the universe, the principles of the universe. And that is when we can say that we have picked ourselves of all kind of taboos or some values and other things that doesn't actually bring progress to our life, but it makes us to adopt a certain kind of life which doesn't bring progress. Let us rise up. We can change. We can rebuild and make a better life for ourselves if we begin to become conscious or awaken to this truth. And the only thing that we have to do is to look at our lives. Why are other people moving on well and we are not moving on well? And it will come back to us that it's a principle. If you understand 2 plus 2, you will get the answer. So in the whole classroom or in an examination room hall made up of 100 people, if everyone understands that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, and the question on that day is 2 plus 2, everyone will pass. Those who will fail are those who don't understand the principle. In the same way, we are all in the classroom, in the examination hall of life. We are given these life puzzles. Success is built upon only one principle. Health is built upon only one principle. So if you are not getting the right result, look for the principle, understand it and apply it in your life, and let all other people go. They will turn out to become your friends because principle brings everything in alignment with you. So long as you are in alignment with the principle, you are not doing the job. You are not doing the job. It is the principle, it is the law that does it. It is the law that brings everything to you. All other things in the universe will be aligned in such a way that things will begin to fall in place. Things will begin to work out for you. And so it is with all of us Africans. Our life is poor. Our life is painful. We are not making any progress. We wish we are not Africans. As a matter of fact, the young men and women in Africa, every day, everyone wants to go to a place for greener pastures. Why? Because we are unable to develop our life. Our life will no longer be sour. Our life will no longer be poor, such that we want to run away from it. When we begin to build our communities and societies, our life, the African personality is now built upon principles, universal laws and principles. That is when we will stand up and begin to conquer, to begin to make progress, to begin to make success. So, as I bring my message to an end, I am appealing to you that now is the hour, now is the time. We have gone, or we have been traveling on a certain line, a certain journey, a certain path for quite a long time. That has not brought any success, any improvement in our life. Now is the time of awakening, that we become conscious of the fact that we are all under the same laws and principles. Whether we are white, we are black, we are Asian, we are whatever. And so long as we keep on violating these laws, our life will mirror exactly what the breach of the law brings. But as soon as we become conscious and become awakened to this and begin to apply the principles in its right way, our situations will change. We are not here to suffer. We are not here to beg. We are not here to be controlled by other people, but we are here to co-create with God and participate in the development of humanity with all other people. That is it. That is it. So let us rise up, my fellow Africans. Principle is what we need. And let us begin to bring principles in our life. Corruption will die naturally when we begin to train our children to believe in principle, to believe in the universal principle that governs us. All other things will die off, and we will see only the good and the beauty in our life. Just as when we apply the mathematical principle 2 plus 2, we pass the exams and we are happy. So let us rise up. And so African Mental Emancipation Movement, we are here to bring this awareness and to emancipate ourselves, to peg ourselves from the taboos, the traditions, and all those things. All these things doesn't help us. They haven't helped us. If they would help us, they would have helped us a long time ago. Now is for us to begin to look for the truth, to look for the principles of life and apply them in our lives. And we will be free. You will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. When you discover the principles, when you now conduct your life based on the principle, you are someone who knows the truth, and the truth sets you free. Principle sets you free. That is the truth. So, once again, I take this opportunity to invite you to join us and be part of our community by clicking on the subscribe button, so that we all work together towards the complete emancipation of the African minds. And the overall dream is the creation of a new Africa, a new black race, where we do everything based on the principles of our law, the principles that governs the universe and all other people, and such that we will create an Africa that is developed, another Africa that is moving and going as God intended. Once again, my name is Emmanuel Kwadwo Mensah, and I am the co-founder of the African Mental Emancipation Movement and Eagle Mentality Group. Our drive and determination is to create a new Africa and to bring the dreams of our forefathers into fruition, such that Africa will become a center of attraction to all men and women, that will have all people on the African continent to the glory of God. You can contact us through the email provided at the end of this message. Thank you, and God bless you.